Hi there, my name's Ironhorse. Over some time, I've been asked quite a few times to write a book. Write a book about my experiences dealing with mental illness and suicide. Well, I decided that a book maybe some people might not read. Many people are going to the internet nowadays, so I decided that I would just go ahead and do a video. Suicide is one of the most realistic things you'll ever experience. It is heart-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. It's everything about suicide. It's just not a good feeling when you're on the outside. If you're someone who's wanting to commit suicide, please continue listening to this video. Suicide is that one person that is looking through a big picture window, really big, and they see, a beautiful sky, maybe snow, maybe rainbows, maybe clouds, but it's a big picture window. Then all of a sudden life starts clouding that picture window, and all of a sudden it starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just nothing but a little tiny peephole. Your life is focused in on that one moment instead of the story of your life. I look at life as a library. Your life is not all the books in the library, but all the books are all the people that you affect and talk to and learn about. Each person has their own individual book. Well, you have your own individual book. And when you're talking to someone about suicide or preventing suicide, you want to show that person the one thing that they can't see, and that is hope. Well, that book is hope. Their entire life is in that book. We don't know how people feel when they commit suicide. Don't walk up and tell a person, I know how you feel. You don't. I don't. Nobody does. Instead, focus on the book and show them where there's hope. Hope is just the sunlight coming on, the sunlight hitting your eyes in the mornings. Hope is the cry of a baby when it wakes up in the morning. Hope is seeing your granddaughter age as you age. Hope is going from one job to another job, advancing your skills. Hope is just seeing that one person you want to see. Hope is just breathing, but we have to make it bigger. Hope is just not breathing. Hope is breathing and seeing the sunlight. See it. You add more so they can see that hope. And that's exactly, if you're wanting to commit suicide, I want you to open your eyes. I want you to start opening that window back up. I want you to start looking and seeing the picture window again. It's not going to all come right away. But if you can just open it up, and instead of just seeing, okay, suicide, gun, rope, pills, what am I going to do? Instead, look and go, suicide and my daughter. Start thinking of your daughter. Start thinking, suicide, my daughter, and my job. Then it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Start looking at things that might have interested you before and interest you now. I want you to think about it. Suicide, and what's the next book you want to read? There you go. Just give me one book so you don't commit suicide. Go out and buy any book. Sit down and read it and see if you want to commit suicide afterwards. Expand yourself. Do not give in to the temptation of suicide. It's not pretty in the end. People who want to commit suicide, statistics say that, when they want to commit suicide, they decide right at the very right after they say they hang themselves or they take those pills, they decide that they don't want to do it. Because what happens is once you complete the suicide, that window opens back up and you start thinking about your daughter, your spouse, your parents, your job. Well, it's too late when you're hanging by a rope. It's too late after you've used the gun. You need to take that moment of clarity and instead of being so clear on the suicide intent, start clearing yourself out and start looking at the other things in your life. Because I promise you, every single person has more than just suicide in their life. They've got breathing, they've got smells, they've got tasting, they've got touch. Use your 5 senses and start opening up that little tiny peephole. Use it. I tell you, I promise you, it's worth it. You know, I have PTSD and I don't work now because anxiety and stuff gets to me. But you know, suicide is not my option. I have a little girl. I have a little girl that saved my life when I got PTSD because of another suicide. We think that's where the PTSD came from. They don't know. There's been a lot of trauma, but I've been through quite a few suicides, and I will tell you that not one person that has committed suicide has come back and told me it was worth it. Yeah, they haven't. But I never got a chance to talk to them. And I want you to think about, you know, when you're having that moment of clarity and you got that grenade of suicide in one hand and you're thinking about suicide here, when that grenade explodes, who's it going to hit? It's not going to hit just you. It's going to hit everybody around you. Everybody that was in your life, around your life, even just met you on the street. If they hear about your suicide, it'll affect them. And if you're wanting to help people, just listen. Sit down and listen. Don't say, oh, I know how it is, because you don't know how it is. That's their book. Remember that. The library is books. They have their very own unique story. Every single person does. And it's one story that I couldn't even write for suicide. You know, there may be thousands of books out there about suicide. But what I have to say, I couldn't write down. Because it was too worth it to do this video to show you, to tell you that you're worth it. Just take that one little moment and find clarity enough to think of one more person. Find clarity enough to think of that job, that good stuff that's going to help you get through. If you've got a God, I want you to think of that God. I want you to take that picture window and blow it up. Don't blow up the grenade. The grenade ain't worth it. The grenade ain't going to love you. But those people in your life, they will. You know, some will, some won't. But if nobody cares, then email me. Because I guarantee you, I'll care. I've got no problems about listening. I got plenty of time to do it. You know, my PTSD may never go away. I may be stuck with it for the rest of my life. But the education of learning about something so horrible as suicide has garnered the respect for me. Because I know it is not an easy choice to go out there and end your life. It's not a honorable way to go, but it's not easy. Someone has to get down on their knees almost to just ask for suicide. And that's what we have to understand when we're helping people, is these people did not make just a quick decision to decide, oh, it's over with. It's been thought about. Because they had to think about doing it. They had to think about how to do it, when to do it. So it's just not a quick decision. What, they just went in, got a gun, and then just shot themselves? Well, imagine that. You had to think of what and when. They already had the reason why. And how, I mean, it's there. They've thought of those things. So it's not an easy decision, but also it can be a fast decision, but not an easy one. And you got to think about that. And you got to expand upon their life. Show them, let them see hope. Don't show it to them, let them see it. Hope is the one thing in this world we always have. Hope is the only thing in this world that we have. You know, some will say that, you know, love is the most important thing, and love is very important. But you can take love out and you can still live. When you take hope out, a part of you dies. And when you're raising up your children, show them hope. Show them hope. I tell my daughter every single day, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're confident. She's 3 years old, and I can say those words and she knows them. Start telling your sons, you're smart, you're handsome, and you're confident. Start telling your daughters, you're smart, you're beautiful, and you're confident. Let them know. They will grow up and make amazing people, and you will be so proud of them. Don't let them go out with a suicide. You spent too much time helping them grow up to lose them. I hope as a parent I never have to go through a suicide. You know, and I will try my best to raise my daughter the best possible way I can. But it'll be loving, and it'll be building strong character in her. But even strong characters can crack. You know, a lot of people navigate mental illness to suicide. I don't think so. I think they're parallel, and then they cross. And when they cross, it's catastrophic. Catastrophic. Anybody can decide to commit suicide. Anybody can. You know, yeah, all they gotta do is think of when and how and what. I mean, it basically the W's and the H. So you just, you know, suicide can happen to anybody, anytime, anywhere. And yeah, I've seen it, and it'll just tear you down. My brother hung himself, and for the first 9 months after that, I can't even tell you what it was like, because I don't remember. I was in a fog. I was just not even paying attention. My daughter was born 9 months after my brother killed himself. I was lucky. I was really lucky. Because I may not have been able to have 2 best friends in this life at one time, but I do get to have one, and I get to have multiple. My little girl's my best friend. She makes me so proud inside, and I hope she knows that. But as far as suicide and mental illness, when it's someone's wanting to commit suicide, show them hope. Show them hope. Someone, if you're in the middle of a crisis, call a crisis line. Please do that. And let them know you're suffering. If you need to talk to a doctor, don't be afraid to talk to a doctor. I talk to everybody about my PTSD, my depression, my anxiety. I talk to them about it all. And it does not affect me. They may look at me differently away from me, but they don't to me. they have respect for me. Or, get that respect. Tell them, be honest with them. If you're suffering, do not suffer in silence. You're worth it. Believe me, your life has so many routes to go, and you have so much room to grow. This is your life. This is your book. Keep that book open in the library. Keep on writing the pages. And then one day, someone will pick up that book and go, I know that person. They were amazing. Their life was great. If you're a wanderer, they will say that guy was the coolest wanderer I've ever met. If you're a parent, mother, you're going to say that was the greatest mom I'd ever seen. There will be something great about you that people will look back on. When I think of my brother, I think he committed suicide. I know he was a great kid, but that was my last memory of my brother. Don't be the grenade that destroys your family. Don't be that grenade that destroys other lives. Don't be that suicide that somebody remembers. I hope this helps someone. If it does, I'm proud of you. And if you help someone, I'm proud of you. It may not mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me if you're out there helping people. And it means a lot to me if you came back from the brink, saw that people, and no longer saw that people. You turned it into a picture window again. Keep it open. Hope's alive in you.